The adoption papers were already signed when I found them, my signature perfectly forged, dated 3 days before I even knew she was pregnant. My hands shake as I hold the document up to the morning light, streaming through our bedroom window. The letterhead is official. State of California, Department of Child Services. Every line filled out in her precise handwriting, except for one. The father's name, blank. But my signature at the bottom, agreeing to adopt this child, is too perfect to be mine. It's dated last Tuesday. I was in Seattle last Tuesday, and she knows it. The locked drawer stands open behind me, her precious sanctuary violated by my desperate search for our passports. She'd asked me to book our anniversary trip while she was at the airport picking up her sister. Except her sister just called, asking why no one came to get her. The papers smell like her lavender perfume, calculated, deliberate. 20 years of marriage, and I'm staring at my own signature on a document I've never seen. The timestamp in the corner reads 3:47 p.m., last Tuesday. I check my phone. My flight landed in Seattle at 2:15 p.m. that day. The credit card app shows my Uber to the hotel at 2:52 p.m. My first meeting started at 3:30 p.m. 9 people can verify I was presenting quarterly projections at 3:47 p.m., 2 states away. The signature is too perfect to be mine. The house feels different now. Every shadow holds a secret. Every photograph on our walls lies framed in silver. My phone buzzes. It's her. Flight delayed. Be home late. Don't wait up. But she's not at any airport. I know because her sister is standing in my kitchen now, confused and worried, showing me the text Sarah sent her yesterday, saying the pickup was canceled. I hear Emma's laughter from her room upstairs, playing with her dolls, innocent to the earthquake about to hit our family. 7 years old. Still believes in fairy tales and happy endings. Still believes mommy and daddy will always be together. If you've ever discovered a truth that changed everything in an instant, you know this feeling. That sensation when your world tilts off its axis and you realize you've been living in someone else's carefully constructed story. I photograph every page, my hands steady now, operating on autopilot. Page after page of forms, medical histories, consent documents. Then I find it. The hotel receipt tucked between pages, Ritz-Carlton, Turks, and Caicos. The same week she said she was at that medical conference in Boston. Room service for 2. Champagne, strawberries. The timestamp on the hotel receipt matches perfectly. She'd been planning this for months. My phone rings. Her again. This time I answer. David, can you pick up Emma from school today? My flight. Linda's here. My voice sounds foreign, hollow. Your sister. The one whose flight you're not actually picking up. Silence. Then, for the first time in 20 years, I hear her panic. David, I can explain. Come home. Now. I'm pregnant. The words hang between us like a blade. The drawer behind me, still open, seems to exhale 2 decades of secrets. I know, I say, looking at the adoption papers. I found your plan. She wasn't alone in those photos. 3 hours later, she walks through our front door, but she's not the woman who left this morning. Her Caribbean tan can't hide the fear in her eyes. She's wearing a new necklace, one I didn't buy, and her wedding ring sits wrong on her finger like it's been off and hastily replaced. That's not a tan line from her wedding ring. It's too fresh, too pronounced. Where's Emma? Her first words. Not an explanation, not an apology. A tactical assessment. Linda took her for ice cream. She nods, sets down her luggage, tags from Turks and Caicos barely concealed under her jacket. The same designer luggage set I bought her for our 10th anniversary, now returning from a trip that was supposed to be in Boston. How far along? I ask. 11 weeks. I do the math instantly. Our anniversary weekend. The one she said she couldn't celebrate because of her mother's sudden illness. Her mother, who, I later learned, was on a cruise in Alaska that same week. Our anniversary, She was with him. Show me the pregnancy test. She reaches into her purse, hands trembling, and produces not one but 3 tests, all positive, all dated from last week. But there's something else in her purse, a medical form from a clinic in Turks and Caicos, partially visible. Prenatal vitamins prescribed by a Dr. Rodriguez. Prescription dated 6 weeks ago. Who is he? It doesn't matter. It does when you're forging my signature to make me raise his child. She sits on our couch, the one we picked out together when we first moved in, where Emma took her first steps, where we've spent countless Sunday mornings reading the paper. Now it's a witness stand. The adoption papers. How did you find them? I was looking for our passports to book our anniversary trip. The irony isn't lost on me, Sarah. You don't understand. It's complicated. Then uncomplicated. She pulls out her phone, shows me a message thread. No name, just a number. The messages go back 4 months. Plans, promises, photos. And then, 3 weeks ago, the messages stop. The last one from him. This was a mistake. I can't leave my family. Please don't contact me again. The father's name, blank. He doesn't even know about the pregnancy, she says. And he won't, ever. So your solution was to forge my signature? Make me unknowingly adopt another man's child? I was going to tell you, after, when it was done, when it couldn't be undone. My phone buzzes. Emma's school. Her art teacher has sent photos from today's class project. Emma's drawing fills my screen. A happy family under a rainbow. Mommy, daddy, and my baby sibling coming soon. She must have overheard something. Children always do. She already knows, I ask, showing Sarah the drawing. I told her this morning. I thought it would make it harder for you to leave. We don't leave. That's what I told her father 20 years ago when I asked for her hand. We don't leave, through sickness and health, through better or worse. But nobody mentioned forgery. Nobody mentioned another man's baby. The doorbell rings. Linda returning with Emma, earlier than expected. I watch Sarah transform, the scared woman disappearing, replaced by the perfect mother. She opens the door with a smile that would fool anyone who hadn't just seen the truth. Mommy! Emma runs into her arms, ice cream staining her school uniform. Aunt Linda says you're giving me a surprise. The biggest surprise, sweetheart. Emma turns to me, eyes bright with joy. Daddy, are you happy about the baby? The room freezes. Linda's eyes dart between us, sensing the tension. Sarah holds Emma tighter, using our daughter as a shield, and in that moment, I understand her real plan. Every move calculated, every word designed to trap me. The forged papers were just insurance. Emma was always going to be the real cage. Daddy, why does Mommy cry at night? 3 days later, I'm sitting in the office of Mitchell Reeves, the best family lawyer in Northern California. The adoption papers lie between us on his mahogany desk, alongside the forged signature, the hotel receipts, and printed screenshots of her message thread with him. Mitchell's been practicing law for 30 years. His expression tells me he's never seen anything quite like this. The forgery is clear, he says, adjusting his reading glasses. Your alibi is airtight. 9 witnesses, flight records, time-stamped credit card transactions. But David, he sets down the papers, removes his glasses. Proving forgery is one thing. The family court's primary concern will be Emma's well-being. She forged my signature to make me adopt another man's child. And she's Emma's mother. California favors keeping siblings together. If she has this baby, and you divorce, the court might see you as the one breaking up Emma's family. The recording device on his desk blinks red. Everything documented, everything official. My prenuptial agreement sits in his filing cabinet. I had my assistant pull it from our safety deposit box. Page 17, Section 4. Infidelity Clause. She forfeits all claims to shared assets in case of proven adultery. But that was before Emma, before 7 years of birthday parties and bedtime stories and first days of school. The prenup has an infidelity clause, Mitchell notes, reading my mind. The hotel receipts, the messages, they're proof enough. But that only covers assets, not custody. So she can cheat, forge my signature, try to trick me into raising another man's child, and still get custody of Emma? She can try. Family court is complicated. Judges look at stability, primary caregiving, the child's established routine, who takes Emma to school, who goes to parent-teacher conferences, who schedules her doctor appointments. The answer sits heavy in my throat. Sarah. It's always been Sarah. I provided, she nurtured, traditional roles we fell into without question. Now those roles are weapons aimed at my heart. What if Emma wants to stay with me? At 7, her preference carries some weight, but it's not determinative. The court will appoint a child advocate, possibly order therapy sessions, evaluate what's in her best interest. Being raised by a forger and a liar is in her best interest? Mitchell leans back, studying me. Can you prove the forgery definitively? In court, beyond reasonable doubt? My signature could have been signed and backdated. You travel constantly. Judges see couples sign for each other all the time. Unless you can prove you didn't sign it, prove she did. Forgery is a felony, but proving it, the weight of the situation crashes down. She's thought of everything. The perfect crime wrapped in maternal righteousness. My phone buzzes. Sarah, texting about Emma's dance recital tomorrow. A reminder that life continues its rhythm while our marriage flatlines in a lawyer's office. There's another issue, Mitchell continues. The biological father. If his name isn't on any documents, if he doesn't know about the pregnancy, he still has potential rights. This could become a 3-way custody battle if he finds out. He abandoned her? The messages prove that. Messages can be explained away. Affairs of the heart, temporary confusion. If he's married, if he has resources, if he decides he wants to be involved. Mitchell shakes his head. This could get very messy, very expensive, and very public. What do you recommend? Document everything, every interaction, every lie, every manipulation. Build a case that shows a pattern of deception. And David, he leans forward. Consider what you really want. Full custody? Shared? Are you prepared for what this will do to Emma? To watch her mother vilified in court? To have her family's secrets become public record? I think of Emma's drawing, the happy family under the rainbow. I just want to protect her. From her mother? The question hangs unanswered as I leave his office, the weight of legal reality crushing my righteous anger. In the parking lot, I sit in my car and stare at my phone. 17 missed calls from Sarah, 43 text messages. The last one stops me cold, a photo from her latest ultrasound. Your daughter's sibling, she's captioned it. He doesn't even know she's pregnant. That evening, she's arranged a family dinner at Romano's, our favorite restaurant. Public space, neutral ground, Emma as buffer. I arrived to find them already seated, Emma coloring her kids' menu, Sarah wearing the dress I bought her last Christmas, the one she wore to my company's holiday party, where everyone commented on what a perfect couple we made. Daddy, Emma waves me over. Mommy let me order dessert first. Of course she did, bribery disguised as treat. I slide into the booth, noting how Sarah has positioned herself between Emma and me. Strategic. Everything is strategic now. We need to talk, Sarah says quietly, smiling for the other diners who might be watching. Not here. Then where? You won't answer my calls. You've been staying at a hotel. The Marriott downtown, room 412. In case you need to forge any more documents with my whereabouts. Her smile falters. Emma looks up from her coloring. Why are you in a hotel, Daddy? Just for work, sweetheart. Sometimes Daddy needs quiet to finish big projects. Is the baby a big project? Sarah's hand moves to her stomach, still flat, but she's already performing motherhood for our audience. The waiter approaches and we order 3 dinner salads, 1 chocolate cake, the same order we've placed 100 times, but tonight it feels like a farewell meal. I've seen a lawyer, I tell Sarah once Emma's absorbed in her coloring again. So have I. And? She says you'll never get full custody, not with your travel schedule, not when I've been Emma's primary caregiver for 7 years, not when I'm pregnant and you're the one leaving the family home. You mean the home where you committed felony forgery? Alleged, and good luck proving it. My lawyer says handwriting analysis is subjective. You've signed dozens of documents without reading them thoroughly. Remember the refinancing papers? The school permission slips you signed in bulk. The pattern of trust works in my favor. She's right. I've signed blindly before, trusting her completely. That trust now twisted into legal precedent. What do you want, Sarah? She pulls out her phone, shows me a document. Divorce papers, but not what I expected. She's not asking for alimony, not asking for the house, just joint custody of Emma and one thing more, my signature on the adoption papers, real this time. Sign them and we divorce amicably. Emma keeps both parents active in her life. No custody battle, no character assassination in court, no trauma. And if I don't, then I file for divorce citing abandonment. You left the family home. You're refusing to accept your wife's pregnancy. You're creating a hostile environment for Emma and her sibling. My lawyer says judges are very sympathetic to pregnant mothers being abandoned. It's not my child. Prove it. The words slice through the restaurant's ambient noise. Emma's crayon stops moving. She looks up at us with eyes that have seen too much for 7 years old. Are you fighting about the baby? No, sweetheart, Sarah says smoothly. Daddy and I are just discussing plans. Is that why you cry at night, Mommy? Because of plans? Sarah's composure cracks. I see it, a flash of genuine pain before the mask returns. But Emma's not done. I hear you sometimes, through the wall. You say his name. Whose name, baby? I ask gently. Mr. Marcus, from your work, Mommy. You say you're sorry to Mr. Marcus. The blood drains from Sarah's face. Marcus Chen, her company's VP of development, married, 3 kids. The company picnic last summer, he and Sarah running the 3-legged race, laughing too hard, touching too much. I'd dismiss my discomfort as paranoia. She's already contacted a realtor. Emma, why don't you go wash your hands before the food comes? Sarah's voice is strained. Emma slides out of the booth, skips toward the bathroom. The moment she's gone, Sarah leans across the table. You have 72 hours to decide. Sign the papers, or I'll make this very difficult. You mean more difficult than forging my signature and trying to pass off another man's baby as mine? I mean Emma difficult. Every school event, every birthday party, every Christmas morning, you'll have to fight for scraps of her childhood while I document every missed recital, every business trip, every time you choose work over her. And David. She stands, gathering her purse. Marcus doesn't know. His wife doesn't know. If you make this ugly, everyone will know, including his children, including Emma's classmates. Is your pride worth destroying multiple families? She walks toward the bathroom to get Emma. I sit alone at the table, the adoption papers burning in my jacket pocket. The ultrasound photo still on the table where she left it. A waiter brings our salads, 3 Caesar salads, 1 chocolate cake. The same order, but nothing will ever be the same. You have 72 hours to decide. That night, I drive to my mother's house in Marin County. She's been expecting me. Mothers always know. The tea is already steeping when I arrive. The photo album's already on the coffee table. She's 73, silver-haired, sharp as ever. She survived my father's death, raised 3 boys alone, built a successful real estate business from nothing. If anyone understands survival, it's her. Show me, she says simply. I spread everything on her table, The forged papers, the receipts, the ultrasound. She studies each piece like evidence, which I suppose it is. Then she opens one of the photo albums, points to a picture of my father holding me as a baby. You were 3 months old there. I know. No, you don't. She turns the page. Your father and I separated when I was pregnant. He had an affair. Came back when you were born, begged for forgiveness. I took him back. The room tilts. Dad cheated? And you weren't his first child. He had a daughter, with her. She was 2 when you were born. I have a sister? Had. She died in a car accident when she was 17. Your father paid support, visited sometimes, but we never told you boys. The shame was too great then. Different times. She pulls out another album, one I've never seen. Legal documents, divorce papers dated 1987, never filed, child support agreements, and there, a photo of a teenage girl who looks like my father, like me. Your father wasn't Emma's biological grandfather either. The words rearrange my entire history. Every memory now has a shadow, another story running parallel. But you stayed together, 37 years. Because I chose to. Not for you boys, not for society, not for financial security. I chose to forgive because I loved him more than I hated what he did. But David, she takes my hand. I knew the truth. I made an informed choice. What Sarah's doing, the forgery, the deception, that's not asking for forgiveness. That's demanding compliance. What would you do? I wouldn't let anyone, not even someone I loved, make me an accomplice to a lie. Love isn't just staying, son. Sometimes love is refusing to enable someone's worst self. She stands, walks to her filing cabinet, pulls out a business card. Patricia Wong, private investigator. She helped with your father's estate, found assets I didn't know existed. Very discreet, very thorough. She pauses. If you're going to fight this, you need to know everything, every truth, no matter how ugly. And if the truth destroys Emma's family, the lies already have, sweetheart. You're just documenting the damage. We don't leave. The words echo differently now. Sometimes staying is the cruelest choice. Your father wasn't Emma's biological grandfather either. I leave my mother's house at midnight, mind reeling with revisions to my own history. In the hotel room, I stare at Patricia Wong's card. By 2 a.m., I've made the call. By dawn, she's already working. Mr. Thompson, Patricia's voice is all business over the phone. I've run preliminary backgrounds. There are some interesting patterns. Your wife has done this before. What do you mean? Sarah Mitchell, maiden name, married once before you. Brian Kovach, divorced 2001. Sealed records, but I have contacts. Similar situation. Sudden pregnancy, questions about paternity. He fought it, lost custody of their son, moved to Florida. Haven't been able to reach him yet, but I will. She has another child? Had. The boy died at 3, leukemia. It's why the records are sealed. Happened during the custody battle. Tragic situation used as leverage. Sound familiar? There's more. She's done this before. Patricia Wong sits across from me in a downtown cafe, 3 weeks into her investigation. The manila folder between us might as well be Pandora's box. She slides it across the table with the practiced neutrality of someone who's delivered bad news too many times. Brian Kovach agreed to speak with me, she begins. The first husband. He's been waiting 20 years for someone to ask these questions. Inside the folder, court documents, bank records, photographs. A pattern emerging like a disease under microscope. Brian Kovach's sworn affidavit details a marriage that mirrors mine. Whirlwind romance, quick pregnancy, discovered affair, forged documents. But his story has darker chapters. The child, their son, wasn't his. DNA test proved it after the divorce. But by then, he'd already signed adoption papers. Real ones, not forged. She convinced him it was best for the baby. And the child died? Lucas Kovac, 3 years, 4 months old. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. But here's what the death certificate doesn't show. Sarah had been taking him to different doctors for months before the diagnosis, collecting second opinions she never shared with Brian. She knew Lucas was sick long before she told anyone. Why would she hide that? Insurance policies, 3 of them, different companies, different beneficiaries, all purchased during the separation. Total payout, $400,000. The coffee in my cup has gone cold. She profited from her son's death? Legally, every payment above board, but ethically? Patricia pulls out another document. She used that money to buy her first investment property, then another. Your prenup protects your assets, but did you know Sarah has 6 rental properties in Nevada, all purchased through an LLC registered to her mother's maiden name? That's impossible. We file taxes jointly. Only for California holdings. Nevada doesn't report to California unless asked. Your accountant wouldn't know unless they specifically searched. Current estimated value, $2.8 million. She's been hiding $200,000. No, she's been hiding millions. There's more. Marcus Chen, the suspected biological father, his wife filed for separation yesterday. Apparently someone sent her an anonymous package with hotel receipts and photographs. Time-stamped, detailed. I know you didn't. Sarah did. Why would she expose her own affair? Because Marcus was about to confess. My source at his company says he's been meeting with HR, drafting a statement. He wanted to come clean, take responsibility. Sarah needed him neutralized before he could interfere with her plans. Patricia slides another photograph across. Security footage from the Ritz-Carlton. Sarah at the concierge desk, but she's not alone. There's another woman with her. Blonde, younger, familiar somehow. Jennifer Chen, Marcus's wife's sister. She was Sarah's accomplice, believing she was helping catch Marcus cheating. Instead, she was documenting evidence Sarah would later use. The first husband disappeared completely. Where's Brian now? Can he testify? Florida, remarried, 2 kids. He's willing, but David... Patricia's tone softens. He's terrified. Sarah destroyed him once. The custody battle, the grief over Lucas, the financial manipulation. He attempted suicide twice. He's rebuilt his life, but engaging with her again. I understand. Do you? Because there's one more thing. She pulls out a medical report. Sarah's pregnancy. I have a contact at the clinic in Turks and Caicos. She wasn't there for prenatal care. She was there for IVF, paid cash, $30,000. IVF? But she and Marcus, the timeline doesn't work. IVF takes weeks of preparation, hormone injections, monitoring. She started the process 3 months before the affair began. This pregnancy wasn't an accident. It was planned, meticulously. My phone buzzes. Emma's school, parent-teacher conference in an hour. The normal world interrupting conspiracy with mundane scheduling. But nothing is mundane anymore. Every interaction is evidence. Every conversation is testimony. I want to live with Daddy and the truth. The conference room at Emma's school smells like crayons and hand sanitizer. Sarah's already there, playing the concerned mother when I arrive. Mrs. Patterson, Emma's second-grade teacher, has that careful expression educators wear when navigating divorcing parents. Thank you both for coming, she begins. I wanted to discuss some changes in Emma's behavior. Changes. Sarah leans forward, hand protectively on her stomach. Already showing now, or pretending to. She's been drawing the same picture repeatedly. Mrs. Patterson spreads out a dozen drawings, all variations of the same scene, a house split down the middle, a girl standing in the doorway, 2 adults on opposite sides. And there's this. She shows us Emma's journal entry from creative writing and time. My family is like a puzzle, but someone lost some pieces, and now they're trying to use pieces from a different puzzle, and they don't fit, but everyone pretends they do. Children process change through art, Sarah says smoothly. We're expecting a new baby. It's natural adjustment anxiety. It's more than that. Mrs. Patterson pulls out another paper. This was from our What Makes Me Happy exercise. Emma's careful handwriting fills the page. I'm happy when Daddy reads to me and tells the truth. I'm happy when Mommy doesn't cry at night. I'm happy when we don't have to pretend. We'd like to recommend Emma speak with our school counselor, Mrs. Patterson continues. Dr. Amanda Cross, she specializes in family transitions. Sarah stiffens. That won't be necessary. I think it's a good idea, I interject. We'll discuss it at home, Sarah says, standing. Thank you for your concern. But Mrs. Patterson isn't done. There's one more thing. Emma asked me a question yesterday that I think you should know about. She asked if it's illegal to copy someone's name and if kids can go to jail for lying. The room goes silent. Sarah's mask slips for just a moment, raw fear flashing across her features. What did you tell her? I ask. I told her that children are still learning and that grown-ups help them understand right from wrong. But Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, she seems very worried about rules and consequences lately. We leave the conference separately. In the parking lot, I call my lawyer, schedule the mediation, and make sure there's a child advocate present. 3 days later, we're in a conference room that costs $500 an hour. 2 lawyers, 1 mediator, 1 child advocate who spent the morning with Emma. The adoption papers sit in the center of the table like an unexploded bomb. My client is willing to agree to joint custody, Sarah's lawyer begins, provided Mr. Thompson signs the adoption papers and agrees to child support for both children. Absolutely not, Mitchell responds. Mr. Thompson will not adopt a child that isn't his, especially under fraudulent circumstances. Alleged fraudulent? We have evidence, I interrupt, sliding Patricia's folder across the table. Financial records, hidden assets, a pattern of behavior going back 20 years. Sarah's lawyer opens the folder. His expression changes with each page. We'll need a recess to review this. Review away, Mitchell says. But you should know we've also subpoenaed records from Nevada, 6 properties, an LLC, undisclosed assets that void the prenuptial agreement's good faith clause. That's ridiculous, Sarah starts. Is it? I pull out my phone, show them a bank statement Patricia uncovered. Rental income deposited monthly, $18,000 last month alone. Never declared, never disclosed, 3 years of marriage fraud. Sarah's carefully constructed world begins to crack. That money is for Emma's future. The money from your dead son's insurance policies. The words hang in the air like a poison. Sarah's lawyer looks at her sharply. The mediator shifts uncomfortably. The child advocate takes notes. We'll need full financial disclosure, the mediator says carefully. All assets, all accounts, all properties. Of course, Sarah says, but her voice wavers. Including the offshore accounts, I ask. Everyone turns to stare at me. Even Mitchell looks surprised. What offshore accounts? Sarah's voice is barely a whisper. Cayman Islands. Account opened 3 years ago. Same week you went to that spa retreat. Patricia is very thorough. Sarah's lawyer requests another recess. As they huddle in the corner, the child advocate approaches me. Emma is a remarkable little girl, she says quietly. Very articulate about her feelings. She drew this during our session. It's a picture of 3 houses, one labeled Daddy's Truth House, one labeled Mommy's Pretend House, and one in the middle labeled My Real House. In her real house, she's drawn herself with me, her grandmother, and surprisingly, a baby. But the baby isn't connected to Sarah. It's floating, surrounded by question marks. She said she wants a sibling, the advocate continues. But she wants it to be real. Her words, not a pretend family like Mommy wants, but a real family that doesn't have to lie. I want to live with Daddy and the truth. The mediation breaks down completely when Sarah's lawyer discovers the full extent of the hidden assets. $3.2 million concealed through various channels. The prenup is void, the adoption demand is withdrawn, but Sarah has one more card to play. "None of this matters," she says, standing. "Marcus will want his child, and when he claims paternity, you'll have no rights at all. I'll make sure of that." She's been hiding $200,000? No. Millions. The next morning, I'm at a coffee shop downtown when Marcus Chen walks in. He looks like he hasn't slept in weeks. His wedding ring is gone. He sits across from me without invitation, places a document on the table. "DNA test," he says simply. I had doubts. The timeline, it never quite worked. Sarah said the baby was premature, but... He shakes his head. "It's not mine." "What?" "Probability of paternity, 0%, just like my marriage now." He laughs bitterly. "You know what the sick part is? I was ready to leave everything. My wife, my kids, my career, for her, for a baby that isn't even mine. Then who's IVF, donor sperm? I hired my own investigator after Patricia Wong contacted me. The clinic in Turks and Caicos confirmed it. She used donor 447B, tall, dark hair, MBA from Harvard. She literally shopping cart ordered a baby. But the affair was real. The pregnancy wasn't from it. She knew I was falling for her, used it to create the perfect cover story. If I thought the baby was mine, I'd either support her or stay away. Either worked for her plan. What are you going to do? Testify if you need me to. My wife, she's taken me back. Counseling conditions, consequences, but she's taken me back. We're moving to Seattle. Fresh start. He stands. Sarah destroyed enough. I won't let her destroy you too. I want to be in my child's life, but it's not his child. Marcus, wait, why are you helping me? He turns back. Because someone needs to stop her, and because Emma deserves better. I met her once at the company picnic. Sweet kid. She asked me why I looked sad when I smiled. 7 years old and she could see through the facade. He pauses. Don't let Sarah turn her into another facade. The baby isn't his either. 2 weeks later, we're in family court. The courtroom smells like old wood and disappointment. Sarah sits with her legal team, still playing the abandoned pregnant wife, though the narrative has shifted. The judge, Honorable Patricia Kumagai, reviews the mountain of evidence with methodical precision. Mrs. Thompson, the judge begins, the court has reviewed the forensic handwriting analysis, the financial records, and the testimony provided. The evidence of forgery is substantial and credible. Sarah's lawyer objects, cites precedents, argues technicalities. But, the judge continues, furthermore, the pattern of financial deception, including undisclosed assets totaling over $3 million, constitutes fraud upon the marital estate. Your Honor, Sarah's lawyer interjects, my client's pregnancy and maternal rights are not in question. Mrs. Thompson's pregnancy is acknowledged. However, the attempt to fraudulently obtain Mr. Thompson's consent to adoption through forgery is a serious matter. This court cannot and will not reward such behavior. Mitchell stands. Your Honor, we request full custody of Emma Thompson, with supervised visitation for Mrs. Thompson pending the resolution of criminal charges. Criminal charges? Sarah's voice cracks. The district attorney's representative stands. The state of California is filing charges for forgery, fraud, and attempt to commit adoption fraud. Mrs. Thompson, you'll need to surrender your passport. Sarah looks at me then, really looks at me for the first time since this began, not with anger or manipulation, but with genuine bewilderment, as if she cannot understand how her perfect plan unraveled so completely. Regarding custody of the minor child, Emma Thompson, the judge continues, the court has reviewed the child advocate's report, the psychological evaluation, and the stated preferences of the child. The advocate stands, reads from her report. Emma's words, carefully documented, I want to live with my dad because he doesn't make me pretend things that aren't true. Mom loves me, but she loves the pretend more. The court awards primary physical custody to Mr. Thompson, with supervised visitation for Mrs. Thompson every other weekend, pending resolution of criminal matters. Child support will be calculated based on the now disclosed actual assets of both parties. Your Honor, Sarah's lawyer tries once more. The pregnancy? Mrs. Thompson chose to create a child through deception. The consequences of that choice are hers to bear. This court's primary concern is the welfare of Emma Thompson, who has clearly expressed her need for stability and honesty. The gavel falls. Forgery charges will be filed separately. Sarah stands to leave, but Emma runs in. My mother had her in the hallway, waiting. She runs not to Sarah, not to me, but to the space between us. Mommy, she says clearly, I love you, but I can't live in the pretend house anymore. Sarah kneels, tears finally genuine. Baby, It's okay, Emma says, wise beyond her 7 years. When the baby comes, maybe you won't need to pretend anymore. Maybe you can be real for them. She turns to me, takes my hand. Can we go home now, Daddy? Yeah, sweetheart, we can go home. As we leave the courthouse, I see Sarah standing alone, hand on her stomach, watching us go. For a moment, I see the woman I married, lost, scared, human. But that woman made choices. Those choices have consequences. What would you choose? Comfortable lies or devastating truth? The truth costs everything but builds something real. 6 months later, our new apartment smells like fresh paint and possibility. Emma has painted her room purple, her choice, her space. The walls are covered with her artwork, evolving from split houses to whole homes, from fractured families to chosen families. My mother is here, helping us hang Emma's latest creation, a family tree, but not the traditional kind. She's drawn it as an actual tree with strong roots labeled truth, love, and choice. The branches hold all the people who matter. Me, her grandmother, her Aunt Linda, her teacher Mrs. Patterson, even Dr. Cross, the counselor who's helped her process everything. Where's Mom on the tree? I ask gently. Emma points to a cocoon hanging from one branch. She's changing, she explains. Maybe when she comes out she'll be different, beautiful and real. Sarah had the baby 2 months ago, a boy. She named him Lucas after her first son. The irony isn't lost on anyone. She gets supervised visits with Emma, who reports that Mom is trying to be better. The forgery charges resulted in probation and community service. The hidden assets were divided per California law. The adoption papers were never signed by anyone, real or forged. Daddy, Emma asks as we're hanging her artwork, do you think Mom ever loved us real, or was it always pretend? I considered lying, giving her the comfortable answer. But we're done with comfortable lies in this house. I think she loved us the only way she knew how, I tell her. But sometimes people get so good at pretending, they forget what's real. I won't forget, she says firmly. I know you won't. The doorbell rings. It's my lawyer, Mitchell, but this is a social visit. He's brought his daughter, Lily, Emma's age. They've become friends through this process. 2 girls navigating divorced parents, finding solidarity and shared experience. As the girls play, Mitchell tells me Sarah's latest. She started therapy, real therapy this time. The baby's biological father, donor 4 Hepatitis will never know he has a son. Marcus and his wife sent a card from Seattle, their marriage apparently stronger for surviving the storm. Brian Kovach, the first husband, sent a letter to Emma through my lawyer, words of encouragement from someone who understands. You know, Mitchell says, watching our daughters build with blocks, most men would have just signed the papers, avoided the mess. And raised another man's child unknowingly? Raised a child, period. Biology isn't everything. No, I agree, thinking of my father, of the sister I never knew, of the grandfather Emma lost, who wasn't blood, but was still family. But consent is, truth is, choice is. We don't leave, we rebuild. We don't abandon, we adapt. We don't break. We become. The sun sets over San Francisco Bay, visible from our new apartment's window. Emma and Lily have built an elaborate block city, complete with houses, schools, hospitals, no walls between them, just bridges. Mr. Thompson, Lily asks, Emma says you're writing a book about truth. Is that real? I laugh. I'm thinking about it, about how sometimes the hardest truth is better than the easiest lie. Will we be in it? Emma asks. Change names, change details, but yes, our story might help other families going through the same thing. Good, Emma says firmly, but make sure you tell them the important part. What's that? She looks at me with those wise 7-year-old eyes. That even when everything breaks, you can build something better, something real. My mother nods approvingly. The girls return to their blocks. And I realize that this moment, this truth, this chosen family is worth every document exposed, every lie revealed, every comfortable illusion shattered. Share your found family story below. Sometimes the family we build from truth is stronger than the one we inherit from lies. Subscribe if you believe that honesty, though painful, leads to healing. Emma's latest drawing sits on my desk as I write this. It's our new family tree, but at the very top, above all the branches, she's written in her careful handwriting, "We don't leave, we rebuild." The paperwork is filed, the custody is settled, the truth has been told, and finally, we're home. No bitterness, no revenge, just peace.